If you're over 40, do not buy anything from the Sephora sale until you watch this video. The makeup that we used to wear in our 20s and 30s, guys, it's just not cutting it no more. So I'm going to show you a quick and easy everyday makeup look that you can do using only products found at Sephora. Welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, hey, my name is Desiree, but I go by Motley Girl. So we're just gonna jump straight into this video, and I'm going to switch to voiceover so that I can concentrate a little bit more. Of course, all good makeup starts with good primer, and I'm using the Yummy Skin Blurring Balm Powder in the shade Universal from Danessa Myricks. Now it does come in a shade range, but I just like to use the Universal shade. Next, I'm gonna go in and start to carve out my brows with the Stay Naked Quickie Concealer from Urban Decay in the shade 70NN. I like to use concealer on my eyelids because it evens out my eyelids because they're two-tone, so it's just going to give me a nice even base when I start to apply my shadow. Then I'm going to go in and use some loose translucent setting powder from Mercier. This is just going to soak up any excess, product that's on my eyelids so that the eyeshadow adheres really nicely. For my eyeshadow, I always start with my makeup doing my eyes. I'm going to go in with the Tartelette Creme Brulee eyeshadow palette. This is the perfect neutral palette for every single day. They do have a shade for deeper skin tones, what I'll put here also. So this first shade right here, I'm just popping this in my crease just to warm up my crease. And that shade is Bisou Bisou. Next, I'm going to go in with Belle and just tap that on the outer corner. When you're tapping your product on the outer corner, you want to make sure that you start little by little and then build up that color slowly, because remember, you can always add more, you cannot take away. So if you put too much, you're in trouble. So then I'm just going to start to buff this out. And then I'm going back in with that same fluffy brush on the other side just to blend it all together. And then because I love to add a shimmer on top, I'm doing macaroon just on the entire eyelid. Then I'm just going back in just to buff out the brown and, basically blend the edges together. If you're like me, you have dark circles, you know that you need to color correct, because the color corrector is going to cancel out the color and neutralize that color so that you have a nice even base. So I'm using the Bobbi Brown color corrector stick in the shade Very Deep Bisque. Now, if you are brown skin, most brown skin you'll see use like an orange tone. I like to use this salmon base because I feel like it just blends better. And I feel like already you can start to see a difference that it's made already, as I'm starting to blend it out here. I also love this brush too. Guys, if you're looking for a good makeup brush set, I will also link this brush set down below. I think it's like a 7-piece set. Everything is dual ended, so it's absolutely perfect. Now, what we're going in with, instead of a foundation, we're doing a skin tint. This is the Gel Grip Skin Tint from Milk Makeup. When I tell you, this thing is so lightweight, blends out absolutely beautifully. It's literally like your skin, but better. Tip for foundation: when you're putting on your foundation, I don't like to swipe too much because you're just wiping the product off, but I like to go in and tap. So you're going to see me do lots of tapping. Always make sure you bring your foundation down to your jawline, and you also want to blend it into your ear and into your hairline so you do not see any sort of lines of demarcation. Next, I'm going in with my contour. This is my favorite contour from Merit. It's in the shade, I want to say Monarch. This brush right here, when I tell you, fits perfectly like in the hollows of the cheek. When you're blending your contour, you always want to make sure you blend up and not down. Otherwise, it's going to drag your face down. Now, when you flip that brush over, when I tell you the most perfect nose contour brush I think I've ever seen in my entire life, it makes it so easy. It literally does all the work for you. Just drag it down the side of your nose and then to the tip and then blend that baby out. Now, we're going in with my favorite blush from Patrick Ta, which is She Left Me on Red. It's a cream blush. It looks super pigmented in the pan, but I like to tend to, OD and build my color up some. And I'm just going in with the powder part just a little bit because you want to lock that cream in with some powder. Next, I'm going in with the Sour Creole Beauty. This is their hydrating concealer. Sour Creole Beauty makes products just for mature women because as we age, our skin needs cream products. We kind of sort of want to stay away from, the powder formulas, the super matte formulas, because it's just going to make us look super dry and it's going to settle into our fine lines. Now I'm taking a concealer brush just to blend that out. And remember, when you're blending near your eyeline, your waterline, you always want to make sure that you look up because that's going to prevent any product from settling into, those fine lines that we may have there. So I just put the concealer, on the high points, down the bridge of the nose, on the upper lip, and a little bit on the forehead, anywhere where the sun would kind of sort of, kiss your skin. First, I'm going in with the Urban Decay all-nighter setting spray, and then on top of that, I do my One Size setting spray. I feel like this combination really works for me, especially because I do have oily skin. But this combination right here, this makeup is, when I say going to be locked for hours, I mean absolutely hours. I let that dry down some, and then I go in with my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder again. Always make sure that you dab the puff on the back of your hand, because otherwise you're going to end up looking like a powdered donut, and we do not want that. I personally like to use loose setting powder, translucent, for my entire face. I know some people like to use, flesh tone. I personally just don't like that. It's just a personal preference. I feel like the Laura Mercier gets it right every single time. Now I'm going to take my Urban Decay 24/7 liquid stick retractable eyeliner. Because this is an everyday look, I'm going to do brown, and I'm not going to drag it all the way underneath the lower lash line, just a little tiny bit. Then I'm going to blend that out with a brush. Of course, I popped on some mascara from, this is a Lights Camera Lashes Platinum from Tarte. I really like this because it's nice and black, and it makes my lashes look super, super thick. And I don't know about you, but I'm a bottom lash girl. Whatever I do to the top, I got to do to the bottom, honey. Then we're going to go in with the Ami Collet lip pencil in a Petite Cola. This is a really pretty brown shade. Then I'm going in with the Sour Creole Beauty again. Her lipstick is super hydrating in the shade Sugar Mama. Then I'm popping on top of that some Fenty lipstick in the shade Fenty Glow. I feel like this is the perfect nude little everyday lip. And then, of course, I like to go back in and set my face again, but I only set it the second time with the One Size setting spray. And then I'm going to go in and dab again. And guys, here's a close-up of the face. Right? I feel like she's giving glowy. She's giving gorgeous. It's giving perfect for daytime. Makeup is done, and guys, it took me less than 20 minutes. I feel like my skin is glowing. It looks super natural, and like I said, perfect for every day. And because I use cream products, everything just melts right into the skin, so everything feels super lightweight, and it feels like I have nothing on my face at all. If you guys like this video, which I hope you did, give it a big fat thumbs up. Also, if you guys can hype this video for me, I'd really appreciate it. And if you want to see more makeup tutorials like this, comment down below and let me know what you want to see. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.